Okay, this is a picture of Clarence Thomas. He is on the SCOTUS. Uh, Clarence Thomas, he suggested that COVID vaccines are developed using cells of aborted children. So the cells obtained from elective abortions decades ago were used in testing during the COVID vaccine development process, a practice that is common in vaccine testing. And so this is Clarence Thomas today. And so underneath it has they object on religious grounds to all available COVID-19 vaccines because they were developed using cell lines derived from aborted children, Justice Clarence Thomas said of the petitioners. So Kelly Hooper, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, in a dissenting opinion Thursday suggested that the COVID-19 vaccines were developed using cells of aborted children. The conservative justice statement came in a dissenting opinion on a case in which the Supreme Court declined to hear a religious liberty challenge to New York COVID-19 vaccine mandate from 16 healthcare workers. So the state requires that all healthcare workers show proof of vaccination. So they object on religious grounds to all available COVID-19 vaccine because they were developed using cell lines derived from aborted children, Thomas said of the petitioners. And so none of the COVID-19 vaccines in the U.S. contain the cells of aborted fetuses. Cells obtained from elective abortions decades ago were used in testing during the COVID vaccine development process, a practice that is common in vaccine testing, including for rubella and chickenpox vaccinations. So, a group of doctors, nurses, other healthcare workers brought the case suing the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of New York in an objection to the state vaccine mandate on religious grounds. So the district court issued a preliminary injunction, but the Court of Appeals reversed it, and the Supreme Court ultimately declined to hear the challenge on Thursday. So the court instead left in place the lower court ruling rejecting petitioners' claim that the New York mandate violates the First Amendment right against religious discrimination. All 16 healthcare workers were either they were fired, they resigned, lost hospital admitting privileges, or decided to receive the vaccine. Conservative Justice Samuel Alito and Neil Gorsuch joined Thomas in his dissenting opinion. And some Thomas defenders noted that he was simply reciting the allegations made by those refusing to get the vaccine. That's what they claim, but I have reason to believe that he has something to say about it and he agrees with it. So Thomas argues in the opinion that the court should have granted a petition to open for full deliberation the question of whether a mandate like New York's can ever be neutral or generally applicable if it doesn't exempt religious conduct but does permit the secular conduct, such as medical exemptions. And so the state allows a narrow medical exemption for those who are highly allergic to COVID-19 vaccine. Because I would address this issue now in ordinary course before the next crisis forces us again to decide complex legal issues in an emergency posture, I respectfully dissent, Thomas writes. And so this is in Politico. I believe deep in my heart, in my opinion, that this man on the Supreme Court justice has everything to do with helping push Roe vs. Wade. I do not like him at all. And I just want to be honest about that. I really feel like he holds black people back, he holds women back, he holds black women back, and that he is just totally evil. And I believe he enjoys seeing people suffer and not having their rights. And he reminds me all the more of that character Samuel L. Jackson played in Django, where the slavers had their black puppet who basically made other black people's lives a living hell, and anyone in between. And he felt good about living with the slave master and doing the slave master's bidding. And I just feel like Clarence Thomas is nothing short of that. I do not really like this man at all. I wish that they would terminate him, but I know they won't, because that's the way this country is run, on people like this. So far, that's what I've been seeing lately. Let's go back into time. So this right here is a woman that I remember or recall seeing when I was younger. So let me get right into this. This is Anita Hill. And so there's a bio. So I had found this. It kind of talks about her life, and it talks about who she is. And so it's sort of like a biography on Anita Hill. So it's out of these snippets, like biography masks. So it kind of goes into who she is. This is her today. And here it says she's age 65. So could be wrong. She might be this age. I don't know. So according to this, it says she's from Lone Tree, Oklahoma, U.S. or United States of America. And it gives even her birth sign. Um, so to go into Anita Hill, she's an American attorney, a professor, and author, and she has become a national figure when she was on the hot seat, and she had accused the U.S. Supreme Court nominee at the time, Clarence Thomas, of sexual harassment. And so, if you go down, sorry for the crazy pictures. So Anita Hill, whose name is Anita Faye Hill, was born the 30th of July, 1956. It's currently, it says here at the time she was 64 years old. So correct me on that age. And so this goes into like a bio of her. So it says, likewise, she was born Lone Tree, Oklahoma, United States of America, and she holds American citizenships. But talking about her ethnicity and religion, Hill belongs to an African American ethnic group and follows Christianity. And about her family members and siblings, she was born to an Albert and an Irma, I believe is her parents' name, and similarly, she has 5 sisters, and they named all of them. So, furthermore, talking about her educational background, she completed school at Morris High School in 1977. She received a bachelor's degree in psychology with honors at Oklahoma State University, and later she went on to Yale Law School, obtaining her Juris Doctor degree with honors. Okay, and then it goes into more of her career. So it started in 1980 as Anita Hill was an associate at the District of Columbia Bar with the Washington, D.C. firm of Wald, Harker, Harkader and Ross. Following a year in 1981, she became attorney advised to Clarence Thomas. So Clarence was then the Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. Likewise, in 1982, Hill served as Thomas's assistant when he became chairman of the U.S. Equal Opportunity Commission. So she left the job in 1983 and became an assistant professor at the evangelical Christian O.W. Coburn School of Law at Oral Roberts University. Okay. And so it says later in 1986, Hill joined the faculty of University of Oklahoma College of Law. There she had taught commercial law and contracts. Similarly, she taught for a decade. Moreover, she also was becoming a visiting scholar at the University of California, Berkeley, before joining the faculty of Brandeis University Heller School of Social Policy and Management. So more on her career. So on 11th of October 1991, she accused Clarence Thomas, who today we know as he's a judge on the SCOTUS, Supreme Court judge, uh, sexual harassment. So Clarence was nominated as the federal circuit judge in 1991 by former U.S. President Judge George Bush. So that's how he got his position. So back then, this was before the Me Too movement and what we see today before all of these allegations came forward about all these other people that we've heard of that now they're being held accountable. But back in the days when Clarence Thomas was accused of sexual harassment, how did this thing go for young Anita Hill? So Clarence, he was nominated as the federal circuit court judge in 1991 by U.S. President George Bush, former president. So Hill stated that she was sexually harassed by Thomas when she was working for him. Moreover, Hill was questioned on why did she follow Thomas to the second job even after getting harassed. So back then, you think that they would have listened to you? And so that's the question. So it says, moreover, Hill was questioned on that issue. And so for that, when she explained her ambition to work in a reputable position she was in, so she wanted to keep her job and she wanted to go up in her career. So she tolerated the harassment at work there, but later realized it was her poor judgment. So, however, the case was dismissed by the Senate as the vote of the members was in favor of Clarence Thomas, who we know today. And so this was the young Anita Hill back then. And so she was sitting before the Senate. This is what I saw when I was younger. I was looking at it. She looked scared. She looked worried. She looked defeated. And she looked like she was on the hot seat, like she was the one in the wrong and she was the bad person. So in 1997, she released a book, an autobiography, Speaking Truth to Power. And here she explained her side of sexual harassment controversy in her professional relationship with Clarence Thomas. Later in 2011, she published her second book, Reimagining Equality, Stories of Gender and Race and Finding Home. So she tells about the relationship between home and American dream and also the inequalities with gender and race. And this is the book right here. This is Anita Hill, Speaking Truth to Power. So I remember what happened back then, and it looked really bad, and I'll never forget that. And I really feel like they should get rid of Clarence Thomas. He should be fired. He's actually spreading a lot of misinformation. I feel he has everything to do with the Roe vs. Wade decision being overturned, that he has everything to do with it. I really feel like he's not the only one, but he's one of the main ones. And I do not like this man. I just feel like he just likes to make people's lives miserable, and he's been catapulted to a high position, and he feels that he's unmovable and untouchable, and he cannot be removed. But I believe the reason why he's in his seat is because he has a really great cheering section in terms of people who do dirty work. In the law, in the world of the law of the land. And so, having said that, I really would wish that they would terminate and fire this man. He's just totally just delusional. His comments, they come from a place that are just totally evil. I really do believe that he did sexually harass Anita Hill. I do believe that he should not have been given the opportunity to get to the status that he has. And given it in the times that we live in 2022, he should have been really put on the hot seat, and he should have never gotten as far as he has. And in my opinion, I believe he needs to be fired.